Hello again, and thank you for staying with us. The Correctional Services Department has confirmed that convicted murderer Oscar Pistorius will be released on parole on Friday. He's been serving time for the 2013 Valentine's Day murder of his then-girlfriend, Reva Steenkamp. Pistorius will be subjected to strict parole conditions, which prevents him from drinking alcohol or being interviewed by the media. Legal analyst Melusi Xulu joins us for more on this. Mr. Xulu, a pleasure to have you on the program this evening. Now, firstly, given Oscar Pistorius' high-profile case and your knowledge of the parole system in South Africa, also the conditions, although varying with each case, how does the Department of Correctional Services ensure his safety, also his security during his transition into the community, especially considering the decision not to disclose the transportation details?
Good afternoon. Good evening, class, and to the viewers at home. Thank you for having me. Well, there will be a correctional officer that should be assigned specifically to Mr. Pistorius whilst he's doing his parole, because remember the parole will end in December 2029, so there will be someone specifically checking on him and ensuring that he adheres to the conditions. And I think with regards to how they will protect him whilst he's taken home on the 5th of January, obviously they will just not give any more information, and they will ensure that he goes home. I think he will go to his uncle, and that is where he will stay. So it will be all about not sharing information in how they'll protect him with regards to transportation, information, and so forth.
So as a legal analyst, how do you view the parole conditions imposed on Oscar Pistorius, particularly the prohibition for media interviews? Do you believe this restriction is appropriate in the context of South Africa's victim-centered criminal justice system?
I think it's going to be important for him not to be involved in media interviews. If you did check the statement that was made by the Department of Correctional Services, they say this is the condition that is put on all of the parolees when they are released, not to be involved with media interviews. My view is that it's assisting him to be focused on the conditions and his rehabilitation, so that he doesn't focus on the media issues, especially since his case is a highly profile case. It was an international case, so it's important for him to just focus on his parole and not have any media interviews. Possibly when he's done with his parole, he will then have that time. I think that's my understanding of it.
So when you look at the conditions, the parole board also outlined other programs that are compulsory for Oscar Pistorius to attend. What types of programs are typically recommended for individuals in similar situations, and how effective are they in really rehabilitating the person?
Yeah, well, if you've read the interviews and you've checked the information that was given out regarding his situation, is that he will attend an anger management counseling and also to be, assisted in understanding the issues of women abuse, or in particular GBV. So that will assist, because remember his case is particularly involved with killing of a woman, which is Reva Steenkamp. So it will assist for him to understand that, and that will assist in his rehabilitation, and also to assist for him not to be a danger to the society. So I think it will be a very important program that you have to attend. So there is a condition that this is one of the programs he must attend. So I think it will assist in particular to his case, because it affects, or it's all about women abuse, or GBV, if you like.
So the Department of Correctional Services also mentions that Oscar Pistorius is classified as a first-time offender with a positive support system. How does the parole system then differentiate between first-time offenders and repeat offenders? And how does the support system impact this reintegration process?
Okay, the first offender obviously is given the benefits of a doubt. For example, you've been convicted for murder, it was the first time that you were convicted of a crime. So you'll be given the benefits of a doubt that if you attend certain programs and you have behaved yourself whilst you were incarcerated, you obviously, behave well when you are outside on the parole. But if you're a repeat offender, obviously there's more scrutiny, and it might be that it will decrease your chances of being on parole. So I think that will be an issue. With regards to the support system is very important because depending on the environment, if you're in a conducive environment, it will assist you to finish your parole without any issues. But if you are not in a good supporting environment, it will affect how your parole is done. For example, if you go to Section 52 of the Correctional Services Act or 1998 Act, it states that there are certain places that you must not go to. So obviously, the support system must be conducive for you to be able to, finish your parole without any hindrances.
Mr. Xulu, I actually want to expand a bit more on that point. We did mention that Oscar Pistorius will be living at his uncle's home in Pretoria. From a legal perspective, what role does the family support play in the successful reintegration of a parolee into society? And how is this support monitored by the Department of Correctional Services?
Okay, the family support is important because, like I just said earlier, it has to provide a conducive environment where, you will be focused on the programs that you have to attend, and it will make sure that, I'm not a psychologist, but psychologically, nothing will affect your mind, and you'll be in a good, mindset. But also, sorry, what was the last question? Sorry, I just lost track.
So basically, I want to get an understanding of how integral this support system is, especially when a parolee is released into the comfort of, let's say, a relative's home.
Yes, I was just saying, for example, if you look at what happened when he was released on bail, he stayed with his uncle, and when he was doing his trial in 2014, he stayed with his uncle. So it was a test for me, if I would say, to see how he behaves himself when he's out on parole. So I think the support system that he gets from his uncle is massive and is assist. So I do think that when you go to a supportive family system, it assists you when you're in your parole. So I think it will be important for him, to stay with his uncle.
Mm-hmm. Mr. Xulu, given the parole conditions, including this prohibition on consuming alcohol and other substances, what measures are in place for parolees to enforce and also monitor compliance on these?
Oh, well, look, there is a correctional officer that will be monitoring you and checking on you. That, for example, the section that I mentioned, Section 52 of the Correctional Services Act, it does mention that you are not to use or abuse alcohol. That's one of the conditions. So the parole officer will be there to check in on you. At times, they will not say when they'll come. They'll, surprise you possibly. And then that's where they'll see whether you're behaving yourself or not. And if you obviously break one of those conditions, it might affect your parole. So I think there will be someone that will be monitoring his progress throughout his parole until 2029 December.
Would this mean that he also undergoes particular tests, let's say a urine or drug test?
Yes, there will be some drug tests to be monitored so that they are certain that he's not using or abusing alcohol at any level.
So how does the parole system here in South Africa address this potential vulnerability of newly placed parolees? And what measures are in place to ensure that they have, again, the necessary support systems to adjust to normal living?
Okay. I'll also go back to the section that I mentioned, Section 52. It also states that there might be a condition that there are certain people or a certain group that you must not be, in relationship with. For example, if you had a case where you were involved with gangsterism, the condition might say do not be involved with any people who are part of a gang. Or if it might say that you must not go to any particular place. So that will be the measure put in place. And in terms of the support, obviously there will be conditions that you must attend certain programs like anger management, and also possibly if you are maybe an alcoholic, your case was involved in an alcohol kind of a case, it might be that you might have to attend certain programs to assist you with that situation. So there are situations and conditions that we put in place, but they will differ from case to case.
Mr. Xulu, as we wrap up our conversation, the parole conditions also include specific hours for Pistorius to be at home. How does the Department of Correctional Services then determine these hours? And what is behind this rationale, behind such a restriction?
When you are on parole, obviously you're still under, supervision, and you are expected to behave yourself, in a disciplined manner. So going out at night, possibly after the evening, after 6 or after 10, you are still restricted, at a certain point, because basically a parole, it's not as if you are now free, you can do whatever you want, because you are still under correctional supervision. It's just that you are outside the correctional facility. So I think the fact that you are out on parole doesn't mean you can go out at any time. But how do they manage that? I believe that there is a person who's assigned to make sure that you adhere to the times that they would specifically say you must stay in the house or the time that was stated that you should not go out at this particular time. So they will be there. So I think it's important to understand that yes, you are in parole, yes, you are outside, but you are still under correctional supervision, and they will also check on your discipline. So it's just a chance to get a little bit of freedom, but it's not, freedom which doesn't have conditions. So that will be the situation that Oscar will be involved in until December 2029, where there will be times where he's expected to be at home and in a disciplined manner, of course.
Should he break any one of these parole conditions, what happens then? Is he then put back into prison?
Yes, he will be put back into prison if he doesn't, adhere to the conditions. So obviously it's his chance to behave himself. Obviously there will be certain things that we check. It maybe to be looked at. If it's a minor violation, they might discuss a warning of some sort, but obviously he must not take chances with regards to the opportunities given, and he must make sure that he, adheres to all the conditions and doesn't violate any conditions of the parole.
As we conclude this very insightful discussion with legal analyst Melusi Xulu on the parole release of Oscar Pistorius, it becomes very evident that the intricacies of parole conditions, rehabilitation, and societal reintegration raise crucial questions about justice, victim-centered approaches, and also this delicate balance between personal freedoms and public safety. Mr. Xulu has provided valuable insights into the legal aspects surrounding Pistorius' case. A quick reminder that he will be released on Friday.